Blessings and greetings. Greetings and blessings, blessed souls. We're alive because we've been blessed to stay alive. In Torah Chaim, instructions of life. Torah Chesed, instructions of kindness. Torah Rachamim, instructions of mercies. Today's humble effort is being caused to celebrate a great day in the history of the children of Israel. Although in its original occurrence, it was a very painful day for the nation of Israel. This day, the Rosh Chodesh Av, Menachem Av, the older brother of Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, Aaron Cohen, the high priest Aaron, passed on to the next level of life. And this event was covered in previous weeks in the Torah book, the fourth portion of the Torah known as the Book of Numbers or Sefer B'Midbar, which you can go and see for yourself. So it was 3,000 200 and plus years, almost 3,300 years ago, that Aaron, Moses' older brother, passed on. And he was known to be a great lover of his people. And as the high priest, duly anointed by his younger brother, the Levite prophet Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, his life exemplified a lifestyle, a dugma chayv, olev shalom, rodef shalom, loving peace and pursuing it. And for those of us who wish to be the students of Aaron Cohen, we have to love the peace, and we have to pursue it. And Torah is a very healthy way for us to seek peace and pursue it. Excuse me, like glitch. So I thought, as well in remembrance for Aaron Cohen, who lived to the age of 123 years old, I would also like to dedicate this humble effort, of course, in memory of my father, Reb Shlomo Yaakov, Olav Shalom, peace be upon him, Ben Huna David, peace be upon him, my grandfather, my father's father, and also from my great uncle, Dora Gadol, Reb Yaakov or Yankel Ben Yisrael Sokolsky. This also today is the 37th anniversary of his ascendance to the next level of life. So here we go. We're going to basically review the Hebrew alphabet with you and to show how each letter alludes to an instruction that if we wish to pursue, we can. And if we are so inspired, we'll learn more about these matters. And then if we are so inspired to share these teachings with others, certainly a potent antidote to all the baseless hatred and violence, unfortunately, which is still plaguing the vast majority of the human family experience on all 7 continents of this blessed world. So here we go. Aleph. Here I'm gleaning from a teaching from the 3rd Chabad Rebbe, the Lubavitch Rebbe, Rebbe Menachem Mendel, Schneerson of Lubavitch. And he taught the Aleph stands for Ahava, love. And there's all types of love that we can embrace. And we're blessed to embrace the right type of love towards Creator, towards creation, towards our neighbors, towards our sisters and brothers of different fathers and mothers. The second letter of the Aleph Beit, the alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet, is Beis, bracha, blessing. For surely the Most High's countenance upon us, if we embrace the right type of love, we'll receive, be able to share with others the right type of brachas, brachot, blessings. Now the proximity to Aleph and Beis in the Aleph Beis chart, Hebrew alphabet, is one after the other. So clearly, if we can embrace the right type of love, we can elicit the right type of blessings. But we have to be careful because the third letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Gimel, which also is the first letter of a word called Ga'ava, arrogance. In our love and our attempts to embrace love, we have to be careful about becoming arrogant with our love, that it shouldn't become misdirected. And the outcome, unfortunately, in too many situations that I personally have observed of others, and is also unfortunately crept into my life. Where there's Gaiva, the outcome of this, there's the Dalit, which is the first letter of the word Dalut, or Dalut, poverty. Poverty of mind, poverty of spirit, poverty of emotional expansion, and quite simply poverty in economic terms. Then there's, after the Dalit, we have the Hay. The Hay shares the unique distinction of being part of the four-letter ineffable name of the Most High, which is also named as the Shem Yuchad, the unique name, Shem Farish, explicit name. And there are two Hays. The first Hay, from the inner dimensions of Torah, is pointing in the direction of understanding that the Creator is the source of the creation of this world, directly, in an intensive fashion and continual fashion. The second Hay, of the ineffable name of the Creator, is connected to the attribute of the Creator, the source of all Malchus, sovereignty. That from the beginning of time, before there was time is only a created entity, decreed by the Creator, the great mystery, if you want to call him that, or he's not really a he or she. Sovereignty on every realm of creation, realm of the world of intellect, thought, speech, and action. The Vav is also one of the four letters of the Creator's name, ineffable name, the four-letter name, which starts with a Yud, and then followed by a Hey, then followed by a Vav, as I just mentioned. And the Hey, the Vav, is referring to the fusion of intellect and emotion to take decisive action, eventually, to the faculty of one's Malchus, personal self-sovereignty with the blessings of the Most High. Zion is referring to the general depiction of 7 fundamental emotional attributes which were so decreed by the Creator, which have many dimensions in and out of themselves, even infinite dimensions within the emotional, 7 emotional traits. They have divine implications and practical experiential implications as well for we as human beings. Ches, which follows the Zion, is Chesed. There's a teaching from the oral Torah tradition that the creation was built upon Chesed. The Creator used Chesed to create the world because it was an extension of the grace and the blessings of the Most High. Tes. The word Tes, or I should say letter Tes, has a numerical value of 9. Yes, each and every one of the Hebrew letters has its own unique numerical value. And the Tes, which has a numerical value of 9, the number 9 in itself within the Israelite Hebrew Jewish tradition or Torah tradition is connected to the attribute of truth. Truth, which has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and is eternal as well. And we merit every day to extract out a slice of this eternal truth as alluded to in the numerical route, the gematria of the letter Tes. The Yud, which follows the Tes, is actually the first letter of the ineffable four-letter name of the Creator, Shem Afor, Shem Yuchad. And also, from the inner dimensions of Torah, the Yud is whereby we know that the Creator used this letter Yud, according to the Creator's wisdom and will, to create the future world. Not, say, 1979 in relation to 4,000 years ago. We're talking about the world of Olam Haba, a time of everlasting bliss, where all of us may we merit to be blessed to go into eternal mode, with the Creator's eternal plan. Following the Yud is the Hebrew letter Kof or Chof, which a word which starts with the letter Kof is Keser, crown. As well, the word Keser refers to a dimension called Omek. Hamachaber eno mafsik, machaber eno mafsik. That there's a dimension in creation which requires of us to humble ourselves before certain types of revelations which take place in our mind, heart, emotional capacities, soulful capacities. We don't necessarily touch it in a tangible fashion, but yet we're affected by it. It's also alluding to how the Creator is source of all the light and desire in this world. Desires which are good, pure, and holy, not aesthetic and accessible through self-flagellation or self-deprecation, but rather through the joy of living our lives. Lamed. Lamed is the first letter of the word Lev, heart. The heart. If you're human, you have one. If you're a mammal, you have one. If fowl, the species of fowl and bird, and different other types of species, reptilian, fish, that mighty tiny, for the majority of the creative species, that mighty tiny pump, the means by which the blood is circulated through all of our body. And within that blood is our soul, invested and clothed, lubash, within it. So Baruch Hashem for our blessed hearts. Mem, Mashiach, the Messiah, the Anointed One, will reveal to all of us wisdoms, instructions of Torah which have not even been revealed to the greatest of the prophets, the greatest of the sages, the greatest of the mystics of the Israelite nation, for that matter of all the nations of the world. In fact, today, by Shkacha Protest Divine Providence, there was a teaching in a seminar work called Hayom Yom, which was compiled by the Lubavitch Rebbe, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, Skosio Golenim, may his mercy protect us. We're talking about the qualities of Mashiach. You can learn about Mashiach, of course, in Rambam and all different places in the oral and written Torah traditions of Israel. We're talking about an interesting quality of Mashiach that perhaps is overlooked by many people. And for some, unfortunately, who want to make the Mashiach, the concept of Messiah, and distort it, saying it's an elitist matter, only for a certain type of group in the nation of Israel, just as scholarly, the instruction from Ham Yom is that Mashiach will be able to teach the likes of Moses and Samuel and King David and King Solomon and Adam and Noah and Shem, Methuselah, but also be able to teach the simplest of people, like you and me. Be able to meet the spirit of each and every human being and offer for them the counsel he or she need at the proper time to accomplish their particular mission on earth. Nun is Nun Shari Bina, the 50th gate of understanding, which no human being has accessed in this world, as far as I can, the little that I've learned in the past 30 years, even a level that was not accessible to the mighty Levi prophet Moses, but that we as living souls, once we leave this body, we will access, we go to the next level of life, and it will become abundantly accessible. Either during the Yemos HaMashiach, the days of the Messiah, the beginning of the reign of the King Messiah, or abundantly accessible to us, the time of Techiyat HaMesim, the resurrection, the great one. Akitzur Shachna Afar. Those who lie in the dirt shall raise up and sing songs of jubilation. Samech is the letter, which is the beginning word called Sod, secret. Everything in the creation has its own particular Sod, secret. Some of which have been revealed to us. More than likely, most of the secrets of creation have not been revealed to us. And we wait with pining eyes and a long heart for the Mashiach, the Messiah, to reveal to us those secrets which are pertinent to turning this blessed planet into a self-sustainable, ongoing, renewable planet where life, when it's fully actualized under the leadership of the Mashiach, the Messiah, for most people is clearly not recognizable by the fact that the conduct of still too much of this world is the opposite of the knowledge of the secrets of creation. Ayin, part of the accessing of the secrets of creation, the Mashiach, the Messiah, will teach us to be able to access the Ayin Seichel Shebalev, the eye of the intellect within our heart. This is something which is touched upon in Talmudic literature, and most notably in the Shara Blat, the opening page to a seminal work by the second Chabad Rebbe, actually the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, Dov Ber, Shnyori, otherwise known as the Mittler Rebbe, in his seminal work, Shar Yuchel, just called the Maftecha, Torah's Chassidus, the key that opens up by giving us insight into how to do proper meditation, otherwise known as his bonus meditation upon Torah teachings and within our prayers, and how to rectify our emotional shortcomings and even our intellectual shortcomings. Pei, or Fei, which is the first letter of the word, of Peh, meaning a good indication of the imminent arrival and the actualization of the revelation of Mashiach is when more human beings will be able to express these few concepts that even I'm talking about with you so simply, but there's a great profundity even beyond my own simple understanding of these matters. That human mouth should be imbued with the strength to speak good praises of Creator, not to, heaven forbid, blaspheme Creator, to empower other spirits of human beings, Shafar Ruach, or of lowly spirit, Tzaddik. The tzaddik, the letter tzaddik, actually has the sound of a word, tzaddik, righteous. With pining eyes, and as well as the preparation for the coming of the Mashiach, we of Israel, along with the blessed children of Noah, our longing for the arousal of the righteous to come forth and offer instruction without fear of any type of repercussion, to bring forth Torah instruction, to exemplify the Torah instruction freely, abundantly. That'll become something more fashionable than whatever is fashionable than the vanities of each and every generation up until our generation. Kuf, which is the first letter of the word Kina, which the Rambam is very clear about when he writes that in the days of Mashiach, we will not see, will not experience within ourselves or see it or seen evidence by others, kina, jealousy. The like a plague, it will be wiped away. As well, Sina, hatred will be not a part of the days of Mashiach. And Tachrut, unnecessary forms of competition, will also be a distant memory, flushed down into the bowels, or wherever those bowels lead to. We remember perhaps the attributes of Kina, Sina, and Tachrut, of jealousy, hatred, and unwarranted competition, but it will not be a part of us anymore. We will shun it. Not because we have to make a war within ourselves to shun these things, because we will be so attached to the light of the Creator as it's revealed to us through the King and the Prophet, Messiah, Mashiach. Reish refers to Rishus, evil. Another thing we should not expect to see anymore in the process of the purification of the earth with the uprisal and the arrival and the sacrifice of the righteous souls to come forth into creation. About 20 years ago, I attended a Hasidic gathering with Rav Yitzhak Ginsburg of Kar Chabad, well-known scholar in the revealed and inner dimensions of Torah. And he talked about three general types of human being. It can be male or female. They're the tzaddikim. They have the consciousness of the future, yet they are willing to live in the present, in the moment, to instruct. Those are known as the Beinanim, intermediate people. Most people are in this level, torn between doing what's right and doing what's wrong, and sometimes being ambivalent about both, but trying their best to be very existential into doing what's right. And then there's the Russia, who promotes rituals. Why? Because they lack a das, a sensitivity towards elokus. They lack a sensitivity towards intellect. They lack a sensitivity towards the development of their emotional capacities, plasticity, flexibility. And therefore they try to, unfortunately, bring down the tzaddikim, try to bring down the beinanim, but their time is limited. But yet there's great hope also for the Rishonim. Many great people in the nation of Israel started out living terribly wicked lives and became extremely righteous because at the right time they met the right person and the right type of instruction to help them change their ways. Shin, the first letter of the word Sheva, pointing us in the direction of the Sheva Mitzvah B'nai Noach, a means by which every nation in this generation of the creation can bring social justice by integrating and implementing these teachings within their societies. Yes, I know there are people and organizations and movements who want to say this is a plan to undo the sovereignty of the nations. Just the opposite is to empower the sovereignty, the existing sovereignties, and to elevate them and to purify them. Just as the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is be called, by the way, I think Shin can also be called sin, not to be connected to the idea of doing something wrong, but it happens to be the pronunciation of that Hebrew letter. So the last Hebrew letter is Taf or Sof, which is the first letter of an acronym called Taryag, 613. The numerical value of 613 is the number of biblically ordained commandments that the nation of Israel were commanded at Mount Sinai, and for the days that followed. They weren't just one day at Har Sinai, there were many days there. And for the ensuing 40 years that they were in the Sinai desert, they received these commandments from Moses and by his eventual replacement, Yeshua ben Nun, Joshua. And there's a symbiotic relationship between the Shin of Sheva Mitzvah Beninoch, 7 Noahide commandments, universal commandments, and the Tuf, which includes to the Torah, the 613 commandments, blessed souls, because 613 plus 7 equals 620, which is the numerical value of the word, Hebrew word which we mentioned before, Keser, Keter, which is Kof, Tov, Saf, Reish. So when the children of Israel and the children of Noah, which are called Olam, all the inhabitants of the world, work together, we shall not be surprised when we are plowing the ground, preparing the world for the imminent arrival of Mashiach Tzidkenu, in the merit of the great Kohen Gadol of 3,000 plus years ago, almost 3,300 years ago. Aaron HaKohen, the older brother of Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, the mighty Levi prophet. May we see speeding our days the manifestation of human beings simply wanting to see where their portion is in the Torah just by simply investigating the Aleph, Beit, and the commandments that are relative to them. So every person's world has an intrinsic connection to the letter Shin. And every Yisrael has an intrinsic connection to the Tov, which alludes to the Torah of mitzvahs, the 613 commandments, but working together symbiotically, just as the Aleph and Beis does. As we mentioned before in the teachings of the name of the Tzemach Tzedek, Aleph, Ahava, and Beis, Bracha. When we can evidence for ourselves and exemplify for ourselves and others, that we can exude out this Ahava, this love, and this, we will see Bracha, just as Aaron HaKohen was able to manifest it during his 123 years upon this blessed planet Earth. And may this all manifest in a way of Ahavachad, one love, Gorelachad, one distant all of us, Adarchi known, in a pleasant way, Adarchi Shalom, in a peaceful way, Be'ez Hashem, Hamshich, the help of God to continue. We continue. And I just want to remind everyone, you have to be good. Well, you have to be good. You might feel ambivalent about feeling good. You're not interested about why should you do good. You see so-and-so doing not so good in their actions, in their thoughts, in their speech, and yet they're very successful. Because the nature of the creation has been designed by Teva Tov Lahiti, which is the nature of the good to do good. And that's alluding to the Creator who did a great good by putting you and you and you, all of us on the earth. It's in our DNA. It's in our souls. It's in our bones. And we take a good look inside ourselves, blessed souls. See all this manifest in a way, as I mentioned before, being repetitive, that's okay. Sometimes we repeat good things for the sake of reminding ourselves and hopefully for the sake of helping others remind themselves. We have darky known in a pleasant way, darky shalom. Peaceful way. Take care.